Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and in this one we're going to be taking a look at Brant. I just pulled him a few days ago, and I'm making this video because I believe Brant is one of the highest value characters in the whole game. So this video serves as kind of a guide for Brant, or kind of like an overview of him, how to build him, what I think. And I will specifically be including details that I think a lot of people gloss over when talking about him, because obviously I'm aware that you can already find tons of Brant guides on YouTube, so my angle on it will be kind of showing you guys my own Brant, but kind of with the angle of my own Brant and what I'm planning to do for my own account. And then secondly, this video will just function as an appreciation video for Brant, or like an advertisement for why I think you should pull him. Spoiler alert, Brant is going to be very high on my upcoming list of the best characters in the game, and yeah, since he's on banner right now, I figured I should make this video before he goes off banner, because if you guys care about meta even a little bit, I do think you guys should consider this character. He is not only really fun to play, he's also just very strong and very versatile. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. And my hope is that this video finds people that already own Brant or people that want to pull for Brant. So let's start with going over Brant's stopping points. So Brant has a lot of stopping points, and the reason for that is that he scales excellently with his sequence nodes, particularly the first few. But let me start off by saying, guys, I do think it is absolutely vital that you go for Brant's weapon if you want to play him. This sword is the highest value signature weapon in the whole game in my opinion, so I do think you guys should consider that if you want to pull Brant, or if you already own Brant. Going for this weapon is a big difference. And it's not only just the power budget, guys. Another thing that this weapon does is just really eases up how hard it is to build him. As you may have heard about Brant, you do need to min-max his echoes a lot, and he is a very min-maxy character. But that's both good and bad, guys, because that yes, you do need to invest quite a lot of resources into making him as strong as he should be, in terms of how many echoes you need to farm. But the good thing is that the reason he's so min-maxy in the first place is because all the stats you gain on him just matter a lot. They're all really high value, and so that's where the min-maxing actually comes into place. It's not so much that he needs all of the stats, it's just that he scales much better with set stats compared to other 5-star characters. So yeah, a Brant can be absolutely cracked out of his mind if you have the correct echoes and if you spend the time it takes to min-max him. His weapon eases up this process by a lot, because in order to use his best echo set, which is the Tide-Breaking Courage set, you need to hit this requirement of 250% ER. The Brant also has on his forte up to 280% ER. He gains a significant amount of attack for every single point of ER. And so what you have to understand about that is that you get a significant attribute bonus for hitting 250 ER, that's the requirement, guys. And then after that, the rest of the ER up to 280 is basically kind of luxury. It's very good for him. It's very strong to have a lot of ER on him. But 250 is the main goal you need to hit her. And that's the info you need to understand why my first stopping point for Brant is his weapon. So I would recommend pulling both Brant and his weapon, and I would call that the first stopping point for him. I think leaving out Unflickering Valor as of now is just not worth it, because there's not really a good alternative, but I do think the amount of power this weapon gives is just simply worth it. So the first stopping point is his weapon. The second stopping point, guys, is his S1. Because Brant's S1 is one of the best sequence nodes in the whole game, and it gives him a tremendous amount of damage. So if you do want to give Brant that extra bit of love, you should go for the S1, I guess. You get great quality of life with this one, because when you throw your anchor down, which is your big nuke of damage, enemies will slow down so that it's practically impossible to miss the anchor. So yeah, S1's very good. The second stopping point for Brant is his S2. This simply gives him a 30% crit rate buff, which again, it will ease up how you have to build him greatly. But we'll get into that on the echo portion of this video. This is personally where I went to, and the reason that I went all the way to S2 is because I happened to get a double, so I went straight to S1, and then I went for S2 afterwards, because I just think Brant is worth it. I think Brant is so strong to the point where going for an S2 even as a low spender is pretty worth it. So yeah, this sequence node is very nice for the crit rate. It also gives additional damage on your outro skill. It's also nothing to scoff at, because you will be dealing like 30-40k ticks with this outro skill buff. So yeah, overall very good. The fourth stopping point for Brant is his S3, because this return from ashes, that's his anchor. Getting this sequence node actually just increases his DPS by a tremendous amount once again. Again, it's really up to you guys. Every single one of these stopping points is super valid and makes sense. But I would say when you get to S3, like, you're spending a great amount of resources to build one single character all the way to S3. So that's worth thinking about. But it is a great sequence node though. And then the final stopping point for Brant is his S6. S4 and S5 are pretty underwhelming. So if you do want to go further than S3, you would have to go all the way to S6 in my opinion. And his S6 is of course ridiculous like every other 5-star. I don't think I need to go over that much. So next up, let's talk about his echoes and how his sequence node as well as his weapon kind of relate themselves to his echo choices. So these are my echoes, guys, and keep in mind that my brand is S2. So what that means is that since I get a flat 30% crit rate from S2, that means I can now run a crit damage forecast. And that's a very important detail to note. And I'm running double ER here, as you can see. And for the majority of brands, running double ER will be the way forward. But I do have an important note here, because the thing about double ER is that, according to the calculations I've seen, if you can hit 218% ER without these two main stats, so without 64% extra ER from the two main stats here, if you can hit 218% without that, which is pretty much only possible with a signature, running a fusion damage bonus here is actually a higher value. It's gonna give you more damage, and it's gonna be better for your brand to run a fusion damage bonus free cost. The reason I'm not running one yet, and the reason why you can see here that I'm overcapping on the ER red, is because I've only owned him for 5 days red. I just haven't found a good fusion damage one yet. But I am in the process of farming for that. Because as you can see, I have a bunch of ER rolls on 4 out of 5 of my pieces. I'm looking to upgrade this one, and I'm looking to upgrade this one to a fusion damage one, as well as the double crit roll. Otherwise, as mentioned, 250% ER is what you're looking to hit here, and that is part of the reason why I think owning a signature is just really important. But yeah, my brand is pretty solid so far. He definitely still has a little bit of improvement to do, but I'm enjoying min-maxing him as well. Something really interesting about Brant is that ER rolls and basic attack damage rolls is really comparable in value. Obviously past the threshold of 250%, right? Because you have to hit that to get the attribute damage bonus. But after 250%, the value of these rolls are really similar. And they're really high as well for character. And that is where the min-maxing nature of Brant comes in. And that's why I'm saying it's a good thing, because he just simply gains a lot more value than other characters for hitting the right rolls. It's not like he needs these rolls, but if you get basic attack damage on, let's say, all 5 pieces, right? Your brand is just gonna scale very well with those rolls, compared to other characters hitting their resonant skill roll or whatever else they scale with. Brand just scales even better than those characters with these rolls. But yeah, overall, guys, you are looking for the 250% requirement first, then you're looking for double crit on everything, and then you're looking to min-max basic attack damage rolls, as well as ER rolls. If you don't have S2, you're most likely running crit rate here, because otherwise balancing crit is just not feasible. It's just too hard, I think. So as you can see, my brand ends up with 83% because of the 30% flat from the S2 to 266, and without this S2 you would look for something like 80 crit rate to probably something like 230-240 crit damage rate on a really optimized brand. The main improvement I'm looking for on my brand right now is to change this one to a fusion damage roll, and looking for around 260 or 270 on this energy region instead of the 280 cap, because this forte does scale linearly, so you don't need to hit the cap. And as I mentioned, there is a threshold where fusion damage will outvalue ER, and that's a very important detail to know about Brant. So yeah, super min-maxy character, but that's what I really like about him. I like that I can work towards something for a while with this one, because I don't pull every single patch. Now let me go ahead and show you guys a basic Brant combo. I'm just going to show you what it looks like when you play Brant by himself. Now, my combo might not be the optimal combo, I'm not so sure, but this is a very basic, very serviceable combo that anybody can pull off. It's very easy to do. Keep in mind that if you had intro skull here, you would swap Brant in, let him do his intro, and then you would immediately press alt. So our combo will just start with the alt right here. So you would intro skull, alt. Now, when he comes out of his alt, you're going to hold down your left click until he's spinning, and then you're going to spam left click. That's what I do in order to get this whole combo off. And now he'll be ready to drop his anchor. So then you just press his anchor, drop that down, and then you echo skill and swap out. So you swap cancel the echo skill. And that's as simple as it gets. That's a single anchor rotation. That's what makes sense for most Brant teams. But say you're running him with something that's not exactly optimal, or you're just trying to hyper carry with Brant, you should probably be looking to do a double anchor rotation. And you can easily find videos on how to do a double anchor rotation on YouTube or similar. It's only a little bit more complicated because his ult lets him stack his anchor faster. So your second anchor or your first anchor, depending on when you ult, is going to be a little bit slower. Let's just do a complete duo, Brant Lupa and then slap on Encore here, level 17 Encore, just for the extra fusion damage from Lupa's buff. And then let me show you guys just how strong this team is. So this is going to be just Lupa and Brant together. Again, obviously us two Brant, but you'll get the point when you see the damage. So I'm just going to do rotations, and then you guys can follow along if you want to. I messed up a bunch of times there. This was by no means close to a perfect run. But I think maybe that makes up a little bit for me having S2, right? I did a bunch of mistakes there. I would love for somebody in the comments to correct all the things I did wrong, because there was definitely a lot of stuff wrong with those rotations, but you guys get the point though. Yeah, overall these characters just work really nicely together, of course. But yeah, this is just how strong Brant is. Like, he will just absolutely tear through content like this. So now let's just do a quick Lupa check for anybody curious, because I feel like somebody will be curious. Lupa's running Lustrous Razor, not her signature, and her echoes are very lackluster. So this is a pretty badly built Lupa in my own opinion. She's a 10 in her skills. I would say a pretty underbuilt Lupa together with ultra cracked S2 Brant, of course. But the point is, guys, that clear was more than sufficient to clear, right? And that was like a two-man team pretty much. Let's just talk about Brant's insane versatility, because I think he's honestly close in power to Arena on any given team whatsoever. He will always at least contribute with a bunch of damage, a massive shield for literally 10k or more, and a fusion damage amp as well as a resonance skill amp. So if any of your characters use resonance skills, if any of your characters are fusion, he will contribute with that. If none of your characters are either, he will still give you what I'm pretty certain is the biggest shield in the game, as well as heals, as well as contributing with a bunch of damage. Brant is just so unbelievably versatile. Not to mention that he pairs incredibly well with top tier DPSs like Carlotta, as well as him being the driving force for one of the strongest teams in the whole game, which is Monofusion, of course. And that team only has more room to scale with characters like Galbrenna coming up. Before I end the video, let's quickly go over some of the other things that Brant can do for your account, because he will provide you with the easiest time you will ever have with these tactical holograms. It's actually how I finished off my last few holograms, because Brant's insane shielding and his damage is just so good for these holograms, because it means you can put a full support on your team. What this meant for me is that I was able to do this setup for my holograms, where I used Verena, Brant, and Carlotta, which ultimately is a healer, a shielder, and one of the safest and best DPSs in the whole game on one team. So what this setup achieves is just giving you a really safe and easy route to clear the last holograms if you're missing those. Brant is also great in Wuthering Waves. Sometimes you can get a nice effect where his anchor will kill all the enemies, and then the anchor will also trigger on the next set of enemies, and that is just insane value, right? Because you will just 400-500k nuke those enemies, and that's just 2 waves eradicated from existence. So also great in Wuthering Waves. Obviously great in tower, his single target damage is incredible. And at his absolute worst, he's still a massive shielder and has absolutely insane potential to scale on your account and just scale with the upcoming characters, and he has room to be on so many different teams. I just wanted to show my appreciation for Brant, as well as shine some light on just how strong he is. The only two downsides I see is that one, I think his weapon is pretty important. I think it is almost a must pull. Oh well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it is a must pull. Somebody can correct me in the comments if they don't think so, but I think it is a must pull. If you're pulling Brant, you should get this weapon because it's the biggest upgrade in the whole game for signature. And then the second downside is that maybe he's a little min-maxy, or maybe he's a little bit hard to play, but honestly, the combo I showed you guys, very easy to execute, no problems there, right? And in return he provides great safety, which is pretty paradoxical, right? Because ultimately he makes your gameplay easier, because you just get a massive shield on top of everything. So yeah, that's my video on Brant, guys. I just wanted to make a quick video today to show off just how strong this guy is, and absolutely no complaints from me. I'm very satisfied with pulling S2 for him. I did get very lucky and get a double red, but if I didn't get a double, stopping at S1 or S0 is perfectly reasonable as well, and he will still do incredible damage. So I hope you guys gained some value from this video. I'm currently making a top 5 best characters for Wuthering Waves, and let's just see how far Brant goes on that list, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.